This review has been approved by Lord Carnage. Welcome to Classic Game Room. By popular demand, I bring you the Amiga CD32 game system, which has one of the most bizarre controllers I've ever seen. It's holding it upside down. It's like a smiley face with buttons. It's Amiga time. Oh yeah, bring the noise with the Amiga CD32. You know what this game system could use? More gray. Gosh, is it unattractive. Why did they stop making game consoles with a wood grain finish like the Atari and Intellivision? Wood grain makes everything better, but when I think of Amiga, I think of the good computers, like the kind nobody had. Who had an Amiga? They were the expensive ones. Like, I knew a lot of people who had Commodore 64s and the crappy IBM PC clones back in the day, but the Amiga, whoa, you may as well have had a Neo Geo built into a Ferrari. Anyway, Amiga was a line of computers sold by Commodore in the 80s and 90s, known for their high-quality graphics. But this is the Amiga game system, which has laser beams, so be careful. Apparently this was manufactured in 1993 and, according to this advertisement, conquered Europe. I don't think it ever made it to the United States. I don't remember seeing or ever hearing about one. But as you can see, somebody had high hopes for this thing. The gaming landscape was really exciting in the early 90s. You had Sega, Nintendo, the TurboGrafx-16, the Atari Jaguar, Neo Geo, Panasonic 3DO, and these people have the audacity to claim this beats all of them, including the Sega CD? Excuse me. Even a G-string can't save the Amiga CD32 from the Beastie Boys. What's Mark on now? Well, let me show you. Naturally, whatever game system the Beastie Boys chose to play video games on was the game system of choice. Let's look closely at the back of the Beastie Boys Ill Communication vinyl, and there's lots of photos if you look closely at the top right-hand corner. Mike D is playing Sega Genesis, or more likely Robo-Alest or Dark Wizard on Sega CD, which beats Amiga CD32. So before I move on, I've got a huge Classic Game Room shout-out and thank you to send to Melissa from Buffalo, New York, for sending the Amiga CD32 advertisement to the show. Perfect timing. Thank you, Melissa. This is a CD-based game console that plays audio CDs and a modest video game library. The layout of the game console and game selection reminds me a lot of the Panasonic 3DO and Philips CDI. Here's a look at several titles. And this thing must have cost a fortune when it was new. All of this CD-based stuff was really expensive in the early 90s. But wait, there's more. You could also turn this thing into a computer with the addition of a keyboard, mouse, and floppy drive. And you know how I feel about floppy disks. I love them. Especially when they've got awesome artwork on the packaging like this, and RoboCop. But enough with the history lesson already. Let's play some games on Amiga CD32. Look, he's got a Roomba and an iPad. The future can't be all bad. Heading into this review, I was getting ready to poke fun at this thing. I mean, I like good failed obsolete technology.
Chatfer found. Downloaded.
But I gotta hand it to the Amiga CD32. It looks pretty good, the sound is incredible, and it's like KMFDM is locked inside of it. We were just watching some footage of Infiltrator, an early 90s adventure game, but let's play something a bit more approachable, Skid Marks 2, which is like RC Pro-Am with a bit of the extra Amiga. The music that I've heard on most of the games and its aggressive use of stereo separation is pretty cool. Good sound quality too. This is a fun game. While it's nothing fancy, it's playable and gives a nice 3D look to the classic RC Pro-Am style. Let's move on to Zul Ninja of the Imp Dimension, which is like Sonic the Hedgehog meets Candy Crush on crack. Love the music once again. Great sound work. I like any game where they have to sing the title of the game in the music for the game. Zul the Ninja. This one seems promising. I should have played it for Ninja Week. Speaking of missed opportunities, Let's check out the best, worst fighting game I've played in ages, this incredible King of Fighters knockoff called Ultimate Body Blows. Which sounds like a VHS tape I saw in the 90s.
How are you, boy?
Yeah, this game is as awful as it is amazing. Just keep watching. I'm inclined to tell you the Amiga CD32 is worth getting for Super Skid Marks or Skid Marks 2, and this game alone.
No, who's the best?
You know who's the best? This guy. Love that face.
Against its creator.
Here we have the Chaos engine, which looks and sounds promising. You know, I'm kind of impressed by the Amiga CD32. I don't know that I like it more than the Panasonic 3DO, but you can't argue with the game selection here. They're colorful, the controller, as awful as it looks, is actually pretty comfortable, and the games that I've played play well. Something like Infiltrator has a bit of a learning curve. That's like your old school early 90s adventure first-person style game. Those take a while. But a lot of this other stuff is just pick up and play good times. I'll review the floppy disk reader later. That opens up a whole new library of games. I'm not sure that you really need one of these things unless you have a certain feeling of nostalgia towards it. They're expensive. It outputs PAL video, but also amazing music, and some of these games have a unique look and feel to them. Like I said, I'm impressed. It may not dominate the early 90s CD-based game consoles like it says it does, but it definitely holds its own. And I've got a Classic Game Room shout out and thank you to send to my man Greg from Classic Game Room for letting me tinker with his weird-ass archaic electronic stuff like this. From Commodore, it's the Amiga CD32, which can be summed up in one word.